Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupakadamakim Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vishnuvanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavan Sudebe Pranamami Narupuri Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Kaira Bhaktavindada Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome you back, and we shall proceed with our Prabhupada's Leelamrita. So last week we were discussing about Prabhupada's visit to Russia. He was in Moscow, specifically on the invitation of Professor Kotovsky, who was heading the Academy on Indian studies, like that, under Moscow University. So Prabhupada went to meet him. He had given a nice invitation saying that please come, we want to discuss about your culture, civilization. India is a very old civilization and we have been regularly studying this, and it will be happy to share notes with you. I understand your ISKCON is very popular globally. We would like to get your views on the various civilizations of the world and what is your contribution, like that. So Prabhupada went to Russia on a 7-day tourist visa, and he was accompanied by Shyam Sundar Prabhu and Aravinda, 2 people. And Prabhupada stayed in Hotel National, which was in the heart of Moscow. Very expensive hotel, but inside it was barren, very cramped room, only enough space for a bed and 2 chairs. And Prabhupada shared the room with Aravinda. Shyam Sundar stayed in a different room. And on the 3rd day, this long-awaited meeting happened with Professor Kotovsky in his office. But it was a big disappointment. Number one, when Prabhupada mentioned that I would like to meet with all your departmental heads and all the intellectuals in the universities of Russia, so that I can share with them the values of Indian civilization and how it can contribute to communism. How communism is there in the Vedic days. Like that, Prabhupada tried to interest these people. But Kotovsky said, that will never be allowed. That's all. This is the only meeting you can have. No further meetings. You cannot address our people. You cannot talk to our departments. So Prabhupada was disappointed. But still, Prabhupada continued to engage Kotovsky as an individual, trying to teach to him, to make him understand how surrender is the essence of human existence. To someone or the other, you invariably surrender. And finally, he got Kotovsky to agree that surrender is necessary. Complete surrender is necessary. But Kotovsky said, but surrender is followed by revolution. For that, Prabhupada said, yes, take the case of a crying child in a huge crowd of people. The child is passed from one lap to the other lap. Child continues to cry, goes to the next lap, but still continues to cry, moves on and on until it comes to the lap of its own mother. Then there is no more crying. And Prabhupada said, so there is no more revolution. And Kotowski added, yes, it stops. Revolution stops. Without even knowing what he is saying, Kotowski agreed with Srila Prabhupada that Krishna is the mother and the souls are crying for him. So whatever you try, communism, capitalism, or whatever isms you have, socialism, mixed economy, whatever system, secularism, whatever ism, philanthropy, altruism, anything you try, ultimately there is again a revolution. Revolution means dissatisfaction. I'm not happy with this system. I had a great hope from this system, but now I am not happy. That is the meaning of revolution. But Prabhupada says, but in Krishna consciousness, when you ultimately come to Krishna, no more revolution. Why? You are completely satisfied. You don't see any reason to create a revolution. Correct? If you are happy with the system, if everyone is happy with the system, there is a need for a revolution. So Prabhupada makes him understand. It is not something, blindly, automatically you say like a moron, that every time there has to be revolution. There was Russian Revolution, there was French Revolution, there was American Revolution, there was Indian Revolution. Revolution. Why? Against the system. They are not happy with the system. Revolution. So they are fixed up in their mind because communism means revolution. Revolution against all kinds of leadership, all kinds of control. That is revolution. But ultimately, what the communists get, they get even more controlled. Prabhupada said communism means ruled by Shudras. Capitalism means ruled by Vaishyas. We are not happy in both the systems. But between the two, actually Vaishyas rule is better. Because Shudra is completely in Tamagun. Vaishya, at least is within Tamogun, he may be in a superior position and a tinge of Rajogun added. If he has a proper guidance is there, Vaishya will perform better. But simply no hope for Shudra. It is like placing the head on the neck. Remove the head and put the legs. What the legs will do if they are kept on the shoulder. So, this is the point. Communism means ruled by Shudras. Prabhupada said there can never be happiness, but you cannot tell them directly. So Prabhupada is telling, under Krishna consciousness, you find perfect happiness. After that, there will be no more revolution. So Kotowski agreed, but there is the end of the meeting. Nothing more is possible. Prabhupada realized that he is only a pawn. This Professor Kotowski is simply a pawn in the big system of communist government, which controls everything, everybody. There are agents everywhere, spies everywhere. They are keeping a tab on everyone, especially people in higher positions. They have keeping tabs. There will be hidden cameras, there will be hidden recorders. And news will go to the leaders. So everyone is afraid of everyone else. Your own colleague may be a spy of the Russian government. So everyone is very circumspect in opening their mouth. So Russia is a very silent society. People don't talk. We are talking about 1971, which was the Iron Curtain. No freedom at all. So anyway, eventually, Prabhupada and Shyamsundar returned to Hotel National. Now what to do? The much awaited meeting is over. Now they are on a 7-day tourist visa. 3 days are over and nothing to do. So Shyamsundar thought this visit has become actually a failure. Our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, savior of the whole world, he has so much work to do, but now we are going to be simply idling here without having anything to do. Prabhupada would take his morning walks and he would talk to Shyamsundar. There was actually nothing else to do. And Shyamsundar, in the morning, he will go out and start standing in different queues to procure some milk, some curd, some vegetables, some fruits. That was the situation. But then, that day, when Shyamsundar was standing in the queue, one man came behind him and he expressed some interest in knowing what is your philosophy, what is your religion. I am interested to know. Can you share something? Like that he was asking. Then Shamsundar came and told Srila Prabhupada, such and such person is asking me, should I encourage him? Should I bring him here? Prabhupada said, no. He's a KGB agent. Prabhupada knew that he's a KGB agent. Don't bring him. Okay. So the following day, Prabhupada, this Shamsundar was standing in another queue. Then he saw two young men. One, the son of an Indian diplomat stationed in Moscow, a high-ranking official. The other was a young Muscovite. They were loitering near Red Square when they saw an amazing sight. What was the sight? What they usually see is regimented city traffic, everything controlled, everything moving peacefully like that. But suddenly they saw a tall young man with a shaved head, a long reddish ponytail, there is a tuft, and flowing white robes. Dhoti, kurta, dhoti, flowing white robes. And they saw him. And immediately, the Indian diplomat, because this boy has seen sadhus in India, and so he recognized here is a sadhu, but he's an American sadhu. So this boy stopped him, and Shamsundar smiled. And he continued to walk, but these people wanted a conversation. Narayana knows English. He's from India. His father is working in Russia. So he knows English. Ivan, who is the boy who is there with Narayana, he doesn't know. He knows only Russian. But these two are friends. So Ivan is asking Narayana in Russian, and Narayana is translating into English and asking Shamsundar. So that way they had a conversation, and they expressed interest to meet Srila Prabhupada. So after asking Prabhupada, Shamsundar took both of them to Prabhupada's room in Hotel National. So they both were so eager. And as soon as they entered the room, Shamsundar offered prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. This very much impressed Ivan, who is a Russian. He is seeing first time such respect being demonstrated to the spiritual master. A spirit of complete surrender by falling like a stick at his lotus feet. He was kind of mesmerized. And Prabhupada smiled at these people, and there was a brief introduction, and then they all sat at the lotus feet of Prabhupada. Aravinda was there already, and he was massaging the lotus feet of Prabhupada, and conversation started. And Ivan was more interested than Narayana. Narayana, though an Indian, he had respect for the sadhu, but he had no curiosity. He was not eager to know the philosophy. But Ivan was asking. And in the meantime, Narayana said, regarding vegetables, no problem for you. My father is a diplomat. He gets vegetables flown in from India daily. So I will give you vegetables as much as you want. That was all from his side. But now the Russian boy. Of course, the Russian boy cannot speak English. So Narayana is acting as the interpreter, translator. And conversation is taking place between Prabhupada and Ivan through the medium of Narayana. And Prabhupada, Ivan inquired with great awe and reverence and respect. And Prabhupada answered his questions. And as much basic information about Krishna consciousness as possible, Prabhupada was giving to him. So what did Prabhupada tell him first? Anyone can guess? What did Prabhupada tell first?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Correct.
Either we are not the body, we are the soul, and we are the servant of the Lord Krishna.
Perfect. So that is exactly how Prabhupada started. Thank you. So Prabhupada started by saying, there is a difference between the soul, which is spirit, and body, which is matter. Deha Dehi. If you recollect, how does Bhagavad Gita start? How does Krishna start the teaching?
Same way, Prabhuji, talking about the body and the soul.
And before that, Arjuna says something to Krishna. What does he say?
That he surrenders to Krishna and
Yes.
as a disciple, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yes. So he says, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichami tvam dharma sambhuga cheta yasreyasyam nishchitam bruhitanme sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna says, I am a confused person. I am bewildered because of Karpanya dosha. Karpanya means attachment to material things is called Karpanya. Miser. A miser is attached to his material possessions. A Brahmana is not attached. A Brahmana has got liberal values. He knows one day this body and all my possessions will go. So he is interested in supreme absolute truth. That's a Brahmana. So Arjuna realizes that his attachment is Karpanya, miserly weakness. So he says, please, Krishna, tell me what is really good for me. He uses the word Shreyas. Shreyas. As opposed to Preyas. Shreyas means what is in my long-term interest, which is what is good for the soul. That is our long-term interest. Our short-term interest is relating to the body. Whether it is 1 day or 1 year or 10 years or 100 years, it is still relating to the body. That is preyas. But Shreyas is what is good for my soul. What will free me from the cycle of birth and death and fix me up in a place of eternal joy, happiness, peace. So that's what Arjuna is asking. In a similar way here, Ivan is sitting at the lotus feet of Prabhupada and he's in a complete mood of respect and surrender. And he's listening to each and every word of Prabhupada with very deep attention and respect. And Prabhupada is starting the same way Krishna speaks. So Krishna will first chastise Arjuna. The moment you surrender, Guru will chastise you. Guru will say, what you are talking like a Pandita, but you are worse than a fool. Prabhupada writes, number one fool. Why? Because Gadasun Agadasum cha nan shochanti Pandita. Krishna would say, you are speaking like a Pandita, but your behavior is not like a Pandita. Because a Pandita will never cry for the soul, because soul is never going to die. And Pandita will never cry for the body also, because body anyway one day is going to die. So a Pandita neither cries for that which will never die, nor for that which will any case die. So like that, Krishna gives introduction. Then Krishna starts, Dehi nosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam chara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. Like that, Krishna will slowly build up Bhagavad Gita. But here, Prabhupada is in a hurry. And he has found a perfect student. So like a mother cow giving milk to the calf, Prabhupada is giving everything to his boy who is sitting in front of him. So what does Prabhupada say next? Okay, you are a spirit soul, you are not the body, finished. Next, what is the soul? Servant of Krishna eternally. So it is not your business to enjoy sense gratification. It is your business to engage your senses in the service of Krishna. You should give joy to Krishna because he is your eternal master. So you should never look at your own happiness. You should always look at the happiness of Krishna, like the Prabhupada is giving the basic informations very strongly, and the boy is receiving everything very happily. He's lapping it up. And then Prabhupada is also telling him about Bhagavad Gita, about ISKCON, about the network of temples, and how young men and young women are working together under Prabhupada as disciples and doing preaching work, distributing books. Prabhupada is telling the mission of ISKCON, what it is doing. And then Prabhupada said, I wish to preach in Russia. It's a great field for Krishna consciousness because people here are not spoiled by sense gratification. By now, you all know there is nothing in Russia, no entertainment in Russia. No, I don't know whether there are any cinema theaters, but anyway, Russian movies must be very boring. And there are no malls, there are no pubs, whatever. Our conception of recreation, it is not there in Russia. Everybody works hard, then goes home, maybe drink a peg of 2 of vodka and go to sleep. They have a family, they live with family, but sense gratification is minimum. So Prabhupada says, they are not polluted by sense gratification. So here is a point for all of us to note. We are polluted by sense gratification. Now we have come to Krishna consciousness. If we continue to engage in sense gratification, what bigger fool can be there? By now we know sense gratification pollutes the soul. And we have already been polluted in unlimited lifetimes in this material world of conditioned existence. Now at last we have come to Krishna consciousness. Even now, if we are like Kripana, that I want Krishna, but I want sense gratification also, then what bigger fool can be there? So we should be able to control our senses. It's a fundamental need to advance in spiritual life. So Prabhupada is saying, I wanted to do it here. And I wanted to introduce my literature in Russia, but that is also not allowed. And I wanted to do Nagar Sankirtan in Russia. That is also not allowed. So, but Krishna conscious philosophy, I wanted to speak to the intelligent people in Russia through the universities. That was also not allowed. So now Prabhupada says, because government is putting restrictions, you must do it very carefully, very clandestinely, very discreetly, very cautiously. You should, but you should not keep quiet. You should distribute Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said, then Prabhupada started a kirtan. Prabhupada is teaching everything to this boy. So Prabhupada is starting a kirtan. Prabhupada is leading and the others are singing, following Prabhupada within the four walls. So singing, repeating, Prabhupada says, this is kirtan. You should do it in groups of people, in the silence of your house. Outside people should not hear. Kirtan should go on secretly. You collect people very carefully. You should not bring a KGB agent. You should select people carefully and preach to them. Give them the philosophy. Give them the kirtan. Start them on the japa. Let them do chanting. Prabhupada taught him all this. And Ivan was taking to Krishna like a hungry man eating a meal. Please understand, this is Shyamsundar eyewitness account. Shyamsundar's eyewitness account. What does he say? Ivan took to Krishna like a hungry man, how he eats a meal. So, Ivan was always hungry, looking for this knowledge. He doesn't know, but he's eager to solve the problem of existence, material existence. That has already entered into his mind. So Krishna is beautifully doing the matching, right? Prabhupada, the perfect pure devotee, he wants to preach in Russia and he is sending the perfect disciple to learn from Srila Prabhupada. So several hours Prabhupada spoke to this boy. Maybe 2021, he was still a student studying Indian philosophy in his college. So it was time for them to go, but they said, we will come again tomorrow and we will hear more. And Shyamsundar also started spending more time with Ivan and Narayana. What is not mentioned here, but what I am thinking, this is all Krishna's arrangement. See, Prabhupada is an Indian spiritual leader. They must be watching him, the KGB. But somehow Krishna made them sleep. Otherwise, how is it possible? These boys are coming and going from Hotel National, day after day, they are coming and going. And nobody is questioning, nobody is asking anything. So just like, after Krishna took birth, everyone went to sleep, correct? And then Vasudeva took Krishna out and all the doors opened. Nobody knew. And after he returned from Gokula, that is when the child started crying and everybody woke up. So like that, it must be an arrangement by Krishna that no one noticed. So every day they would come and every day Prabhupada would teach them more and more. So, and Shyamsundar was additionally speaking to them, telling them that Krishna consciousness is the topmost of all spiritual paths. And he taught them the basic principles of Bhakti Yoga from Bhagavad Gita, such as chanting the prescribed 16 rounds of japa daily. The boy agreed. daily 16 rounds. And then he gave him his own copy of Bhagavad Gita. This also is amazing because I have already told you in an earlier class that they don't allow spiritual books into Russia because they could be used for preaching. But how is it that Shamsundar was having his copy of Bhagavad Gita? And how is it that he was able to pass it on to Ivan? This is also beyond my reckoning. But this is a book in English. So they need to translate it into Russian. That's a big thing. And they cannot print it. They cannot go to a press and print it. They cannot go to a Xerox machine and Xerox it. Nothing is there in Russia. And it's not allowed also. You cannot take it out in public. So what they did, they bought paper, which is also scarce. They bought carbon sheets, which is scarce. And they sat in the basement of the house and they copied. And then they distributed. Distribution is also a risk. You cannot go and give it to anybody. There could be an agent. So very discreetly, very carefully, this is how ISKCON took root in Russia through this one boy. And then Prabhupada taught Ivan how to make chapati, how to make rice, and how to make sabji. And then Ivan was told, non-vegetarianism is not allowed in Krishna consciousness. It is a sin against God. We can only offer vegetarian food to God, and only offered food we can take as prasad. The boy agreed joyfully. Ivan. So new way of eating, new way of day-to-day living, he agreed. So Ivan was being trained so that after Prabhupada left, Ivan could continue on his own. So Prabhupada already made his plan. After I leave, he will be the representative of ISKCON in Moscow or Russia. This little boy will become Prabhupada's representative in Moscow. And he would take all responsibility to distribute this knowledge to the Russians. So then, after he practices for some time, Prabhupada will keep in touch from India and then he will initiate him. So right then, he was not initiated. Initiation was after Prabhupada came back. And Prabhupada, after the meeting, Prabhupada said, look, if you are cooking rice, how to know it is cooked? Take one little grain of rice and see if it is cooked. If it is cooked, the whole pot is cooked. So Prabhupada says, Ivan is the sample of the Russian population. So Russia is ready. They are all rishis. They are ready. If this knowledge is given, they will all become Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada said like that. Prabhupada could tell that the Russian people were not satisfied in the so-called ideal land of Marxism. Just as Ivan was keenly receptive to Krishna consciousness, millions of Russians would be also. Today, if you go to Mayapur or Vrindavan, you can see the proof in front of you. These dams are filled with Russians. They are poor people, not wealthy people. They will earn some money, some little savings, they will come to India. They will live here until they spend it, and then they will go back to Russia. Again, work there for several months or maybe years, earn some money, then come back to India and spend the time in the dham. And they won't simply be there. They will distribute books. They will do Nagar Kirtan, like that. Amazing people, these Russians. And same with Chinese. Tamal Krishna Maharaj went to China to preach. Prabhupada sent him. And he also worked underground in China. And he made so many amazing devotees. You can see them if you come to Mayapur. You can see so many Chinese in traditional Indian dress, so reverentially worshipping the deities and joyfully doing kirtan and dancing. You can see. From little children to elderly people, nice devotees you can see. So Prabhupada also quoted Chanakya Pandita. What does Chanakya Pandita say? He says, Chanakya Pandita says, if there is one fragrant flower in a forest, the fragrance will spread to the whole forest. A fragrant plant, like we say, sandalwood tree, it lends that fragrance to the whole forest, like that. A blossoming flower will lend its fragrance to the whole forest. Similarly, one spark of fire, if it is kept in the branch of a tree, then it can burn the whole forest down. So Prabhupada compared this boy to that spark of fire and to the flower in the forest. Like a spark of fire, he will destroy the material civilization. And like a blossoming flower, he will distribute Krishna consciousness to everyone in Russia. So finally, Shyamsundar understood that he thought Prabhupada's visit is a failure. But it was not. By Krishna's arrangement, it had to happen like this. Prabhupada went alone to America. 70-year-old man went alone to America, and he created ISKCON, worldwide movement. So why not in Russia? A disciple of Prabhupada, who met him only for 3 days, he became the anchor of Krishna consciousness for Russia. And he did amazingly well. For that, he had to read other books like Salted Bread, etc. How he went about, how he took big risks, how he distributed. So many Russians have got so many stories to tell. And also this Mandakini Mataji, who was a French girl, just 16 or 17 years old. Prabhupada sent her to Russia with instruction to get married to Ivan so that she can stay there and assist Ivan in distributing Krishna consciousness. Marriage of convenience, only to distribute Krishna consciousness. So, in the service of Krishna, everything is allowed, of course, under the watchful eye of the spiritual master. You and I are not empowered to do improvisations like that, but the spiritual master can do. Prabhupada has made so many changes, but the essence he never diluted. So that we should remember. So Prabhupada has brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching to one more country. One more country added. This is a huge country. Even today, Russia is a huge country. But in those days, it was USSR. Many of the individual countries you have in the map, both in Asia and in Europe, Eastern Europe, all of them were part of USSR. Later on, they became independent and the communism broke down in Russia. All this happened after Prabhupada left. Communism broke down and many countries became independent. So in that massive country, one devotee was planted by Srila Prabhupada. So, Satsvarup Maharaj says, after coming to America, Prabhupada is planting the seed of Krishna in very unlikely places, where you will think there is no chance, but in those places also, Prabhupada is planting. And in just a brief government supervised visit to Moscow, there also he has planted the seed of Krishna consciousness within the Soviet Union. And Satsvarup Maharaj writes, like a needle, Prabhupada enters, and then like the thread, the whole people follow. The needle is followed by the thread. So the needle is Prabhupada and the thread is the people who follow him. So like that he says. Professor Katowski was telling, oh, Hotel National is very boring. I don't know what you will do there to spend your 7 days. But the 7 days were really exciting for Prabhupada and Shyamsundar because they found nice devotees who were very serious to learn and practice. Okay, so from Russia, Prabhupada came to Paris. Okay. Prabhupada came to Paris. Paris, Prabhupada is going to spend only 1 day. 1 day only. And after Paris, Prabhupada will be going to Los Angeles. Right? Just for 1 day, Prabhupada has come from Moscow to Paris. He has not much time. So Prabhupada came and then he was received at the airport at the Indian tourist office. So Prabhupada came into the room and he rested a little bit, and then he woke up, and the press people were there. They wanted to interview Prabhupada, and 30 European devotees were waiting. They had never seen Prabhupada, but they are already devotees. They are waiting to see Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, when he entered the airport, they all saw him very eagerly. And Prabhupada was carrying his walking stick, and his umbrella was tied to that walking stick. And Prabhupada lifted his bead bag and waved to all of them, and then he went into the customs. But the customs people detained him for 2 hours. And finally, Prabhupada emerged. And then Prabhupada came to the place where they were staying. Actually, in Paris, they have already got a temple. Deity installation only is there. So the temple is already there. So Prabhupada comes. And Prabhupada is in his room. And someone brought a mango and gave to Prabhupada. Prabhupada happily accepted it, ate it, and the nut, the stone of the fruit, and the peel that was shared by all the devotees. Mahaprasadam of Prabhupada. All there. So Yogeshwara, he is one of the devotees. He is already initiated by Prabhupada by mail. But he is seeing Prabhupada for the first time. So he is also waiting outside the room, waiting to be called. And he is also eating the peel of mango. Someone told him, this is a peel of mango that Prabhupada has just now relished. So he was eating and waiting eagerly. When will I see my spiritual master? First time after 1.5 years, I am getting a chance. So Shyam Sundar opened the door. He saw the devotees were waiting there. Then he asked Prabhupada, there are devotees. Shall I let them in? So Yogeshwar was watching. And Prabhupada was sitting on his bed. And Prabhupada royally lifted his hand. Yes, let them come. Like that, Prabhupada made a gesture. And Yogeshwara was so impressed by his simple gesture. Oh, he is the most perfect man. What a royal gesture that was. So you may be surprised why there is so much glorification of each and every move of Prabhupada. I want to share something with you. I have personally seen many of Prabhupada's disciples who make offerings about their meeting with Prabhupada. Sometimes they visit our temple, or sometimes they come in our yatras, or sometimes there is a Prabhupada Vyas Puja, they participate, and then they make their offerings. So in such meetings, I have heard how they speak about Prabhupada. And also, if you read many of the books by his disciples, you will see the same feature there. What is it? They glorify every simple movement of Prabhupada. I will give you a few examples. When Prabhupada is coming down from the aeroplane and devotees are waiting to receive him, many of them say, when Prabhupada emerged from the aircraft at the door, there was a brilliant light that surrounded him. So they say, like a sun, he came out. He was shining. His skin was golden. His eyes were big and bright and filled with liquid love. And when he walked down the stairs of the aeroplane staircase, he was not walking. He was floating. They vouch for it. Prabhupada did not walk. He glided down the staircase. And when Prabhupada walks also, they find that he's not walking. He's just floating. And then when Prabhupada is sitting in the temple, Prabhupada peels one orange. The way he peels the orange, they will write volumes. How Prabhupada is taking the orange and how he's peeling. Or how he's taking the apple in the early days of New Year. There'll be only one fruit and there'll be some 10 devotees. Prabhupada, after the class, he will be sitting in front of all the people and he will take one apple, cut it carefully with a knife, make so many pieces, take one piece and pop it into his mouth, and then he will pass on the remaining pieces to others. This scene they will express with so much happiness. And they say, he is the most perfect man we have seen. The way he cut the apple, the way he made out the slices, the way he popped it into his mouth. Similarly, The orange he peeled, and then what he did, one piece he put it into his mouth, and the seeds were there in his mouth, and he spit it out in such a trajectory. The seed flew through the air and fell exactly into the dustbin. And Prabhupada did it nonchalantly, just casually. Prabhupada did. Prabhupada took one glass of water and then he took it above his mouth, and without touching the lips, he poured it in a steady stream of like a small waterfall. The water entered into his mouth, and without closing his mouth, he gulped it in a few gulps and he put down the cup. Oh, this is the most perfect movement of the body we have ever seen. Like that, you will see amazing descriptions of his devotees. What is important is that love, that attachment is essence. For us, it may look funny, but it is such a devotee who is most fortunate. Oh, such a reverence and such a love and such a deep attachment, such a strong trust in his spiritual master. Then Guru can give everything. Ishideve parabhakti yatadeve tatagaro tasyate hedidev herta prakashante mahatma. If you are respecting the Guru just as a God, then Guru will, every truth, ultimate truth will be revealed in your heart automatically. Automatically. So this is something we should cultivate. That strong feeling of love and attachment and trust in the Guru is something we should cultivate. So like that, it went on. Then Prabhupada sat up and there was a meeting. The room became filled with devotees. And the temple president of Paris, he arrived a little late. His name was Harivilas. And he was accompanied by another devotee by name Ganashyam. This Ganashyam was already translating into French Prabhupada's books. So they both entered, and Ganashyam very humbly sat at the back because the place was filled up, and he sat at the back. But Harivilas, thinking, I am the temple president, and I am above all these people, and I should be sitting in front. So he walked through the crowd, and he sat by the side of Srila Prabhupada. But soon after sitting down, he felt a little gnawing sensation in his mind. Did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Then what happened? Someone started introducing all the assembled devotees because Prabhupada has not seen any of them. Some of them are initiated, some of them are not initiated. Prabhupada doesn't know. So every person he is introducing. And then he says, Ganashyam, Prabhupada, he is translating your books. And Prabhupada said, very nice. Where is Ganashyam? Is he here? Then they said, yes, he is sitting at the back. So Prabhupada said, Ganashyam, please stand up so I can see you. So Ganashyam stood up. And Harivilas by now was deeply realizing his mistake. Prabhupada was not turned at him so far. And then the introducer said, this is Harivilas Prabhupada. He is sitting by your side. He is the president of our Paris temple. Prabhupada said, he did not even turn towards Harivilas. And he understood. This is the beauty. Harivilas understood. He is my spiritual master. He is teaching me my life's lesson in the very first meeting. By neglecting me, he is teaching me the value of humility and to give up all form of pride. This is essential. We are all servants of Krishna. We are all servants of the spiritual master. We are here to distribute the knowledge to the world. And we have to be very, very humble. Yara dekho tare kaho, Krishna Upadesh. Prabhupada would always say, it is not your Upadesh. You should not concoct. You should not act as an over-intelligent person. You should have the mood of a complete fool in front of your spiritual master. And you should accept whatever he says deeply into your heart. And that is the way to become a devotee. And Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Lord himself, even he had a spiritual master. And in front of a spiritual master, he said, I am a fool, number one. I don't know anything. Please teach me. Should I study Vedanta Sutra? Guru said, no. You are a fool. You cannot understand Vedanta Sutra. You have no qualification. You just chant the mantra I am giving you and everything will become known to you. So Prabhupada says, he is Supreme Lord. But in front of Guru, still he is a fool. So that is the mood for you to learn spiritual knowledge. If you think, oh, I am not new to spirituality, I have read the books of so many people, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, Aurobindo, and so many I have read. I know much more. So let me see what is the new they are telling. If you have that mood, nothing, no gain will be there. So when we see Prabhupada's disciples speak like this, then we understand mercy factor is working. Krishna is entering into their hearts and making it well plowed to receive mercy of Prabhupada. If you have that mood towards your spiritual master, very quickly he can plant the seed and the seed can grow into a tree very quickly. So this is what we are seeing here. Okay, then that one day only in Paris, but Prabhupada had continuously engagements. And then he is going to leave early next morning to Los Angeles. So they had arranged a public meeting for Prabhupada in a big hall, 2,000 people capacity, but only 40 people came because they had not done sufficient publicity. But Prabhupada was not disheartened. To these 40 people, Prabhupada gave a very earnest lecture talking to them about Krishna consciousness. So like that. After the public meeting, Prabhupada returned to the room at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. So Shyam Sundar was tired. All the devotees were tired. So Shyam Sundar told the devotees, without telling Prabhupada, you all take complete rest. Because Prabhupada also has traveled a lot and now he has spent a full day of hectic activity. So everyone go to sleep for full 6 hours. There will be no Mangalarati. He effectively has told them. But Prabhupada got up as usual. Old man, 75 years. But after traveling all the way from Moscow to Paris, barely any rest, continuous engagements, returning to the room at 1 a.m. We don't know when Prabhupada slept. Maybe he was translating also. But 5 a.m. Prabhupada is asking, where is Mangalarati? Already he has taken bath, he is dressed up and everything. Where is Mangalarati? And everybody is flabbergasted. Then they run to call, wake up all the devotees. Come, 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 wake up. Let us have Mangalarati. And as they were all rushing to Mangalarati, Prabhupada started for his morning walk. Imagine, if we are in that position, what we'll say? Today I will skip morning walk. I am too tired. We have justifications. I had a very hectic day. All day I was preaching. All night I was traveling in the flight. I could not sleep 1 week also. Let me rest. Prabhupada is the ideal example for all devotees. So Prabhupada went for his morning walk. And in the morning walk, Prabhupada asked Shyam Sundar, what Shyam Sundar? Why are all householders in Maya? Why all householders are in Maya? Prabhupada is asking Shyam Sundar. Morning walk will be like this, philosophic discussion. Shyam Sundar kept quiet. Prabhupada replied, it is all right. It is their position to be in Maya. So please understand, here are all grihasthas. And here is Prabhupada telling, all grihasthas are in Maya. And Prabhupada says, it's all right. It is their position to be in Maya. Now I want to hear your comments. What do you understand from this?
Yes, Prabhuji, because of attachment to family, sense gratification, so we are more into Maya than the, but we also can come to that level by practicing what Prabhupada has taught, and by reading Bhagavad Gita, we can also come. But we are more prone to Maya, Prabhuji. That's what I feel.
Yes, and that we should always remember. And we should be
Hare
all.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, please. Share.
Prabhuji, we waste time in various types of sense gratifications, and at the end of the day, realize that spirituality has been left behind, and that all that we did was waste because Krishna was not there in any of them. So we are deeply into Maya, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really, really grateful to you for this response. So nice. At least end of the day, we are realizing, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, that we have actually wasted our time. When we engage in sense gratification all day, in gossiping or watching some nonsense, etc., we are realizing that this is not what I should be doing. This is a gift that Prabhupada has given to us. So Prabhupada says, it is their position to be in Maya. So it's not that we should relax, oh, okay, Prabhupada is also accepting, okay, let me be in Maya. That's not it. We are special, we have been picked up, we have received the mercy of Guru. So now it is a time for us to free ourselves by fighting vigorously. We should now be fighting, kicking our hands and legs all the time to become free from Maya. Prabhupada is telling, all householders are in Maya. So I must struggle. I cannot take it casually. I cannot take it lightly. It is a war. It is a fight. That mood we should get. And then Prabhupada says some very interesting comments. You see, Prabhupada said, my initial plan when I went to USA was to make sannyasis. My intention was to make sannyasis. I am a sannyasi. I will make sannyasis. The people who I meet, I will make sannyasis. But when he saw the free mixing of the sexes, boys and girls, freely mixing. So Prabhupada decided, let my disciples get married first. First I will get them married. Then what will happen? Let them have a child. And then what will happen? Then the wife will be sent away to Vrindavan. And the husband will take sannyas. This was Prabhupada's plan. Maybe you think it is casually spoken, but actually Prabhupada did that also. Prabhupada did that also. There are cases. Amazing. You will cry if you see how Prabhupada's focus was only Krishna. And any sacrifice is worthwhile for Krishna. And both the men and women understood. Sacrifices were made by men, sacrifices made by women, and sacrificed by the children. They all sacrificed. And that is how the movement could grow so fast. Prabhupada created so many young sannyasis, 20, 21, 22. His Holiness Jayapataka Goswami Maharaj. He was one of the young sannyasis in the movement. He came to India, I think, at the age of 18 or so. And soon after, Prabhupada made him a sannyas. Soon after. And he took an Indian passport also. He rejected his American passport. Took Indian passport. So such is the power of the Guru and such is the purity of his disciples. So Prabhupada said, I will get them married first, and then after the baby, the wife will go to Vrindavan to serve there and to bring up her child in the Gurukul. Actually, in Vrindavan, there was a Gurukul at that time. So in the Gurukul, the child would study with the mother, and the husband would go as sannyas, Parivrajaka and preach. So Prabhupada said, man becomes entangled by family, home, bank account, pets, and many more. Prabhupada said, this entanglement is inevitable. Janasya mohoyam aham mama iti. We get trapped by me and mine, this syndrome. And everybody is trapped by that. So Prabhupada said, in ISKCON, there is only one problem. What is the problem? We want all men to be brahmachari. But we want all women to marry. Prabhupada said this is all women should marry. They cannot remain brahmachari. They should marry. But we want all men to be brahmachari. Prabhupada said there is a problem. But anyway, in Krishna consciousness, none of this is an obstacle. Any material condition is not an obstacle in Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself told this when he visited a place called Kurmakshetra. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his South India Yatra, he was going alone with only one assistant. And then he came to a place called Kurmakshetra, just north of Srikakulam, just south of Jagannath Puri. And he went to the house of a Brahmana. And the Brahmana became so happy. He washed the lotus feet of the Lord, sprinkled the water on his head and on the heads of all his family members. And he said, today my house has become purified. All my wealth and my earnings and my family members, everyone has become purified. And then he nicely fed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he heard his teachings and everything happened nicely. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his house. And this Brahmana started walking behind Chaitanya. Mahaprabhu walked and he walked behind him. Mahaprabhu walked on, he also walked on. For some distance, Mahaprabhu kept quiet. Then Mahaprabhu said, okay, now you go back to your home. And the Brahmana started crying. By some good fortune, O Supreme Lord, I have now come in connection with you. I don't want to go home into that hell of attachments. I don't want to return. Please take me with you. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this, stay where you are. Chant the holy name. Preach to the people who come in contact with you and teach them the message of Krishna. Right? Amara Ajnaya Guru Haya Taraye Desh. Yara Deko Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. Anyone you see, give the message. Stay where you are. Keep on doing the duties what you have been doing, but be Krishna conscious. Chant and then distribute the message to others. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. And Mahaprabhu also said a very famous song. Naham Vipro Nacha Surapatir Nahi Vaishyo Nashudro. He says, I am neither a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra. I am not a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha or Sannyas. I am simply the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. Gopir Bhartur Pada Kamalayo Das Das Dasan. So there is no material obstacle. The obstacle is only our mind. There is no other problem. So wherever we are, we can do that. And this message, Mahaprabhu would repeat to anyone whom he met, that stay where you are, but chant Hare Krishna and distribute the message of Krishna to others. Right? And he would quote the famous prayer of Brahmaji. Sthane Sthida Studigadan Tanuvag Mano. That poem, it is the same message that wherever you are, you have to be Krishna conscious and you can go back home, back to back. Like that. So Prabhupada is saying that in the morning walk. And Prabhupada said in Paris, 3 things are most prominent: wine, women, and money. Prabhupada said these are very strong. But even though they are strong, Krishna conscious movement can overcome their influences. So that is the hope for everyone in this age of Kali. These 3 things are prominent everywhere in any material civilization. But Krishna consciousness can overcome all these things. So Prabhupada was seeing the affluent lifestyle of the Frenchmen. They had big, big houses, big, big lawns and plants and flowers and everything. They were living very comfortably. Prabhupada said, you have an affluent lifestyle, but the problem is there is no Krishna consciousness. So the men will remain attached to this family life and they will die. So what will happen? They will be reborn as a cockroach or a rat or a dog in the same house to which they are so much attached. This is the end of a person. We say, no, oh, so-and-so had a very happy life. He was so much attached to family, children, and he died a very nice death at home. They did not even have to take him to a hospital. He died peacefully. But this is the story we see. The unseen story is, if he had kept attachment in his heart and he had not developed Krishna consciousness, then he will be back as a cockroach or a rat in the same house. Hari Vilas Prabhu, temple president, proposed to Prabhupada, let us do some business to increase our temple's income. Prabhupada said, your business is preaching. Stick to that. And if there are householder disciples, devotees, they can do business and contribute the profit to the temple. But the temple should not do business here. Prabhupada would give different solutions at different times. This is what he told Hari Vilas at that time, that focus on your bhakti. Because Prabhupada knows each person deeply. And Prabhupada gives exactly what they should hear at that time. So after the morning walk was over, Prabhupada had to leave to the airport. That's all the time he had. From previous day, one full day of work till 1 a.m. Then morning 4 o'clock, Prabhupada is up. He took his morning walk and it is time to go to the airport. Devotees are waiting at the Paris temple for morning Bhagavatam class, but no time. Prabhupada immediately left. So I think we have reached 7 o'clock. So we will continue next week about Prabhupada's reception. He's now going to Los Angeles. That reception we will hear. And by the way, tomorrow is our class. That class I have to cancel because we have some offline Bhakti Vriksha going on here. There are some 8-9 families who are coming there. In one of their houses, we have arranged the Damodar Arati, one of these devotees. So we have to be there. So we will go there. The deities we are taking because they don't have the deities. Damodar deities will be taking. And they will keep some flowers and other things. The flowers will be offered to the Lord. And then they will give some fruits as Naivedya offerings. Then we will have a small katha about Damodar Leela. Then there will be Kirtan. And then we will sing Namamishwaram. And everybody will offer ghee lamps. The members of the family as well as neighbors who they have invited, they will also offer the ghee lamps. And whatever prasadam is there, simple prasadam, that will be distributed to everyone. So this way, we introduce more and more people to Krishna consciousness. And in Damodar month, offering ghee lamp to the Lord is extremely auspicious. It gives you bhakti sukriti and it destroys the sins of many lifetimes. So all of you can also do this. I am sure you are all offering ghee lamps in your houses every day, but try to introduce more people to this. You invite them home. Let me ask you, how many of you know these Damodar Ashtakam prayers? Please raise your hands. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I think practically everyone knows. Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Prabhuji, last Sunday we had the opportunity of doing it, Prabhuji. Actually, Nandini Mataji had asked me for virtual darshan to the Vaishnav Kirtans group devotees. So I took that as an opportunity to prepare for the real Damodar Arati at home. So I made the arrangements for virtual darshan itself. And then we could. And surprisingly, my husband and my kids helped a lot. Especially, I was really surprised by my husband's selfless action of packing the prasadam in the dabbas and preaching to one Prabhuji who had come and offering panagam. So we made some lemon rice, a little kesari and panagam and distributed that also, Prabhuji, as prasad.
Wonderful preaching.
Around 14 people had come.
Wonderful.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. This is exactly what it is. So my sincere request to all of you, please try and do whatever best you can. Introduce more and more people to this. Like you heard what Prabhupada is telling. You heard what Mahaprabhu is telling. This is the whole mission is that whatever we learn, we share with us. Prabhupada said, if you know only 2 words, Hare Krishna, share it with others. So it's not that you have to become a very advanced devotee, then only you should preach. If you hear today morning, Prabhupada's lecture was broadcast in ISKCON Chennai. We are still reading Prabhupada's Prahlad Maharaj prayers. So in today's lecture, especially, Prabhupada mentioned about this. Yeah. So you can hear that lecture also, what Prabhupada is telling. Whatever we know, that we have to share with others. We should not add anything. We should not subtract anything. We should not mentally concoct. We should not act over-intelligent. We should act like a fool. Simply repeat what we have heard from the spiritual one. Prabhupada says, this is what I have done. I am repeating what I heard from my spiritual master. I am not doing anything. And later on, you will hear next week when Prabhupada is in Los Angeles, he will glorify his disciples on the same lines. That he has not added, he has not subtracted. He is repeating exactly what I have taught him and see how amazingly the center is working. Devotees are coming, they are becoming serious, they are starting chanting and the temple is growing nicely like the Prabhupada will appreciate. But no concocting. I should not use my own intelligence to do things. Exactly what the Guru has taught, that we should repeat. And success is guaranteed. That's what Prabhupada says. So, kindly, actually, we are all sadhana bhaktas only. We all have problems, but we should also preach. Not that I will wait till I become a perfect devotee and preach, but you should preach in a very humble mood only. Pure devotee is always humble. But we are sadhana bhaktas, no? We have pride. Pure devotees have no pride at all. They are automatically humble. But we are beginning devotees. We are sadhakas. We have pride. So we should be very careful to behave humbly with others. Knowing I have pride inside, but I should act humbly. I should never exploit people who come to me for spiritual knowledge. I should not take advantage of them. I should not be bossy to them. I should feel I am the servant of everyone. All the people who come to me for spiritual knowledge, I should have the mood that I am actually their servant. And they are the representatives of my Guru. My Guru has sent them to me. So they are his representatives. And I am their servant. So that mood we should have. So in this way, if we continue to preach, we'll make rapid progress in our Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. Very much.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
so much.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, no. Sorry, Mataji, want to go?
No, Mataji, you continue.
No. Just that you all were talking about Damodar, so I'm missing it. But yeah, Prabhuji, you also know that so many schools they go to, so many small temples near their houses they go to, and in places like schools and temples, you have more people coming in to offer Aarti. There were even people who put out a table outside on the road, outside major railway stations. You have the suburban trains in Chennai. So outside busy railway station, they would put up a stall, not a stall, a table. And so whoever's coming out of the station, going back home, they would ask them, and this was all done. So it just brought to mind all these things. We're missing it, of course, but when you were talking about that, just all these devotees and all their efforts.
Yeah.
I mean, just putting a stall on the road is something, I think it's great. No? Not everyone can do that. And once there was even rain, and they had all brought large, big umbrellas, and with that they were offering. And some of the devotees, devotees means whoever came out of the station, they also did join in spite of the rain. So just to highlight the devotees' efforts, I was just came to mind when you all spoke about Damodara.
True. Even yesterday they were in Vadapalli temple because they know
They-
exactly when there'll be more footfalls. Yesterday was
Maximum. Okay,
Shashti
yeah.
and they were in Vadapalli temple. Then more than 600 V-lamps were offered in that temple.
Yeah. And you remember, Prabhuji, that GRT school in the basement they did, and the principal is a Christian lady.
Yeah,
She encouraged and
yeah,
she gave permission. She also was there physically.
yeah. So Oxford School, I think tomorrow they are doing in Oxford School. GRT usually they do it around the end of the month. Kartik month, around towards the end. Many schools, as you say, ongoing basis they are doing. So in whichever way we can contribute to this, as a team, somebody will go to schools and take permissions, and then the other devotees will organize who will bring the ghee, who will bring the lamps, and who will bring the wick, and who will sing the song. Somebody will bring kartal, somebody will bring mridanga, somebody will sing. I like that the program, the devotees work as a team and becomes extremely sweet and very successful. Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji, here
Yeah.
also in Balram Desh, they follow Damodar Yatra, they call it. So
Yeah.
senior Vaishnavas, they come to our house also, and they go to all Bhakti Viksha people homes, and they do katha and kirtan and offer, and those devotees, they will call their friends in their apartments or neighborhood, and they do Damodar katha and prasadam. And it is full of happiness, Prabhuji, this month, fully going to different homes and hearing Damodar Kada. It's really nice, Prabhuji, this month.
Yeah, actually, I was in Bombay. I was auditing one big branch of SBI. So at the time, one devotee who was earlier in Dubai, he was a chartered accountant. He has subsequently migrated to India. He in Mayapur. Maharaj directly gave him service in Mayapur. So he came with his daughter to my branch where I was doing the Aarti. And
Okay.
he brought a basket with the pictures, with the lamps and everything. He was ready, set. And I told the branch manager, let us go ahead with this. So he arranged it. As you said, he did the katha, there was the kirtan, and everyone offered the lamp. It was during business hours.
Oh, okay,
It was
Prabhuji.
done. So, yes, actually, devotees will stop at nothing. When they want to do some service, they will somehow make it happen.
I
So,
think Guru Maharaj started this year in Balram Desh. Jayapatak Swami Guru Maharaj.
yeah. Actually, this whole thing, how it became very big is by his initiative. Because he's centered on outreach. That is his main focus, outreach. How to bring more and more people into Krishna consciousness, at least give them some sukruti, bhakti sukruti, give them something. Let them eat some prasadam. Let them offer a lamp. Let them appreciate the devotees and let them appreciate the Lord and the story. They will get sukruti. And give as much sukruti as possible. Go to as many houses as you can. Reach as many people as you can during this month. So like that, the whole thing has become big because of his initiative. He's always focused on giving it to the innocent people. Those who have not been touched by ISKCON so far, he wants to reach out to them. And so he found this Damodar month is a very great blessing for that. It's
Yes,
a nice story. You have a picture, you have the deity, and you ask everybody to offer ghee lamps, give them a little prasadam, sing a nice song. So what better can be there? So it's a very, very effective medium, actually, this Damodar month.
yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I happened to hear Amarendra Prabhu's one lecture. In that he was saying how Jayapataka Swami made it very famous in Middle East. Like every house they go, they grow. Simply they go, show the arati, sing, say the kada. 10-15 minutes in each house. They spread it to many houses. So actually, I also got inspired. I was thinking how to do. I don't know if my husband will be comfortable. So I thought of inviting my daughter's friends at home. And then each weekend, these 3 weekends, whenever I get time, to all houses, how many houses I can go, I'll take the picture, take prasadam cooked at home, and ask them to offer ghee lamps and say this katha is what I'm planning, Prabhuji.
Exactly. You don't have to overstrain. Don't try to do it on a very big scale. Do it humbly, simply, in the mood of service, just to please Krishna and spiritual master. Just do it. And it will work. That is the way it works. I think the whole thing started in the Gulf only first. Gulf was the trendsetter for this Damodar month. From there, it spread everywhere, actually. And one more announcement. Actually, we are going for a yatra to Mayapur on 29th onwards. So between 29th and 7th of November, there will be no classes. Okay. And tomorrow also, there is no class. So thank you very much for your enthusiastic participation and your association. So we will meet again.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, my son has exams on 29th and 7th. Prabhuji, please pray that he does well. 10th
Hare
NIOS.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha.